This week is a very special week. It's Choose Privacy Week. And I'm going to explain what that means. But first, what does privacy mean to you? That privacy is about choosing the information that others know about you. But what happens when we talk about online privacy? When we're doing things online, it seems like we're alone and that we have privacy because it might just be us and the screen in the room. But we have to remember that especially when we're online, we're never really alone. But the point of Choose Privacy Week is not to scare you. It's to educate you so you're prepared to choose privacy whenever you're online. So we're going to do that with a story time, then we'll have a little dance break with a song, and we have lots of fun activities to help you learn more about how you can choose privacy. So let's kick it off with a story time. Today for Storytime, we'll be reading Yumi Uses the Internet, Digital Citizenship. You can read this book and others in the Computer Kids Powered by Computational Thinking series with your library card on Hoopla. So if you have your library card, sign into Hoopla and you can read along. Yumi Uses the Internet by Sadie Silva. So while today's story is a fiction story, we will be learning a lot from this story. So we see some text features even right away that are nonfiction text features. Can anyone type in the chat what some nonfiction text features are? So what are just some things that are in nonfiction books that you don't see in fiction books? Okay, so some people saw the clue. Here we have a table of contents. So usually fiction stories don't have a table of contents. They might have a chapter list, but nothing like this. And then I see a glossary, I see index, and yes, this book has all of those things because while the story is not true, the information it's sharing is true. So I hope we learn a lot today about how we can safely use the internet. Another thing to remember is that this book was written before COVID. So they're acting as if a lot of people don't have laptops. I think now most people, you might even be watching me right now using a laptop. So we'll just play along and hopefully you'll still learn a lot of really good information today. So let's jump into the story. Yumi's new computer. Yumi's parents gave her a laptop for her birthday. A laptop is a small computer that Yumi can carry with her. Yumi is very excited to use her new computer. She uses computers at school to do research for reports. She's also used computers to learn how to code or create computer programs. You have to be safe, smart, and responsible when you use the internet, Yumi's father says. There are certain rules to follow when you're online. Yumi promises to ask her parents for help when she needs it. And you know, in this story, she asks her parents, but really any adult that you trust, you can ask them. You can ask your teacher, you can ask your aunt or uncle, your grandparents, whatever trusted adult is around. Making videos. Has anyone here made a video before? You can type it in the chat. Yumi's computer has many apps for her to use. She can edit photographs. She can record herself playing her violin. She can even record and edit videos. Yumi and her brother want to start a vlog. That's a series of videos posted online. Yumi wants the vlog to be about saving Earth's environment. She and her brother will record videos about recycling, using less energy, and using bikes instead of cars. Yumi records a few videos with her brother. What's the next step? So they have the videos, but they want to share them online. So what do they need to do? I see some people have guessed. Let's see if you're right. The perfect password. Yumi has to create an account online to post her videos. She has her father help her create a username and password. The password is like a key to get into her account. She has to keep her account safe. To do that, Yumi makes a password that would be hard for other people to guess, with many different letters and numbers. She chooses Earth Helper 0202. That's a password that she will remember. It's important to never give anyone your password, her father says. She promises not to give the password away, even to friends. And that's really important. Only you should have your password. Privacy settings. Next, Yumi looks at the privacy settings on her account. These are settings that control who can see what she posts. Yumi only wants to share these videos with people at her school for now. Her father shows her how she can choose who she wants to view the video. Privacy settings are very important, especially for young people using the internet. Yumi's father explains how privacy settings can keep Yumi safe from strangers. The higher the privacy settings, the safer Yumi will be when she posts her work online. And I have a very funny video to show you later about how much information people can really learn from your online accounts. It's funny, but it's also a little scary. Strangers. Yumi is not allowed to have a social media account until she's older. However, her parents think it's never too early to learn about strangers on the internet. You will have many friends to connect with online, her mother says. However, you should never respond to a stranger who tries to contact you. Yumi learns that she should only interact with people online if she knows them in person first. If a stranger online ever makes Yumi uncomfortable, she will always tell her parents right away. And again, you can tell any trusted adult. If your parents aren't there right away, you can tell your teacher or someone else you trust. To share or not to share. Yumi wants to post her videos as soon as possible. First, however, she wants to make sure that she's not sharing any personal information. Yumi will only use her first name in her videos, not her full name. And I'm going to pause because it's best to not even use your first name, but definitely never your first and last name. But we suggest that you make up a silly name that doesn't really mean anything, that doesn't give any personal information away. And let's learn about personal information. She learns that other personal information includes your phone number, address, and email address. Yumi thinks about what information is safe to share. Her parents say that she can talk about her likes and dislikes, things she's learned, and her thoughts about something. She learns that it's not safe to post personal information anywhere online. And can you type again, what is personal information? I see some people. Phone number, name, address, email address. Those are personal things you should never share. Yumi thinks first. Yumi's father has a suggestion for her before she posts her videos. He asks her to think. Think stands for words that are true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. If her content is all of these things, then it's ready to post. Yumi thinks about her videos. She made sure to respect the thoughts and views of all people in her videos. She didn't make fun of anyone for being different. She didn't apply stereotypes to people from other countries, religions, or classes. That means you're being a good digital citizen, Yumi's father says. Online bullies. Yumi knows that bullying happens at school and at the playground. She thinks bullying is when someone pushes, hits, or says mean things to another person. She's never heard about online bullying before. Online bullying is called cyberbullying, Yumi's father says. Yumi learns that people spread hurtful comments and gossip about others online. They might also send unwanted and aggressive messages to that person. They might post pictures or videos that would embarrass that person. People who bully others online are not good digital citizens, Yumi says. Asking for help. Yumi is a little worried about using the internet on her own. What if strangers try to contact her? What if people comment on her videos in a way that's not kind or appropriate? What if people start bullying her? What if her personal information is posted online? Yumi's parents tell her to come to them if she ever feels unsafe, uncomfortable, or hurt by something she sees online. They can talk about the problem and then help her choose the right thing to do in response. And it's really good to remember that the adults in your life are there to help you. So any adult you trust will give you some good advice on how to handle these situations. Yumi's first post. Yumi learned a lot about being safe online and being a good digital citizen. She has plenty of tips about how to be smart and respectful online. Now Yumi feels like she's ready to post her first video. Yumi's first video is about recycling. She shares it online with her classmates. This video is part of her digital footprint, or what she leaves online. She made sure it was a positive part of her footprint. She hopes she can use her computer and the internet to make videos that make a difference in the world. And I'm sure that during this time, you've learned how far these videos can go online. So it can be a great resource if you use it wisely. Another thing to remember, and Miss Ayola, another librarian at the Jersey City Free Public Library, is going to share how something that she posted when she was little is still popping up today. So we really have to be careful. Now that you guys are so young, your whole life can really be tracked on the internet. So you want to think, even if you're only 8 years old, how will you feel about seeing that information when you're 48? So that's why we want to keep it positive. And now it's the end. So we see our glossary. So if there was a word that was confusing, like content, we can see in the glossary, content means the writing, pictures, music, or videos posted online. So it's also important to remember it's not always just the words that we type. It can be pictures or music or videos that we have to really think about. Can anyone remember what think means? We can use the index to go back and look it up. So we learned think about content, and content is on page 17. So I'm going to go back to page 17, and there it is. I see some people remembered some of the words. Let's think is true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. So we want to always think before we post. And I hope that you enjoyed this story. This is one of a series that you can access for free with your library card on the Hoopla website, or I believe there's also a Hoopla app. But that's it for story time. If everyone wants to get up and dance around with me, feel free. Tech tidbit, tech tidbit. Okay, for our first tech tidbit, does anyone recognize this sign? You can type in the chat. What does this sign, what's this company, organization?
Google.
Everybody, yeah, Google. So a lot of people use Google as their first search engine. A lot of people, you might even be on a Google Chromebook. So we're all very tied to Google. But the problem with Google is that it doesn't keep your data private unless you make those settings adjusted. And if you use it as a search engine, it makes that information public. It won't give your name, but it gives so much information about your searches that sometimes you can figure out who it is if you have access to that data. So an easy way to choose privacy is to not use Google to search. Now, does anyone know this logo? I realize that I'm still sharing. Does anyone know this logo? Oh, some people know it. This is DuckDuckGo. So you can use duckduckgo.com as your new search engine if you want to choose privacy this week. And also maybe check all your settings and make sure they're extra private so your data is not being shared. But yeah, DuckDuckGo. Nice. You guys are masters at tech tidbits already. Okay. So a lot of people are like, I know that my data is available, but that's okay. I'm not doing anything wrong. Let people see my data. And I'm going to show you a quick video about why it's kind of silly to think of it that way. Try to think of it as if a stranger on the street was asking you for your phone number, if they were tracking where you were going, if they wanted to know everything about you. If a stranger came up to you in real life, you would say, no. So I'm going to show you a video of a real person is asking you the questions that your apps want to ask you. All right. Another note is that it's from Denmark. What language do they speak in Denmark? They speak Danish. Some people put it right away. They speak Danish. They don't speak English as their native tongue. They speak good English usually. But so I put some silly voices on and I'm saying the words in English for you. So you'll hear my voice with the Danish people. So just to give you warning, it will be silly. Okay, so let me share the screen again. And remember, this is a video of if a salesperson in a coffee shop was asking you the questions that your apps are asking you. Kind of weird.
That looks good. I'd like to see the last 5 text messages you've sent. Excuse me? My phone number? Then I want yours too. No way. Nope. I refuse. I sent a text to my sister. And what's her number? I can't give you her number, certainly not. I can't do that without her permission. Where were you at 8 p.m. yesterday? I was at my parents' house. Can I have their number? No. In the digital world, apps can demand access to your personal information. Would you accept that in the physical world? Hi, I'm coming with you to see where you're going. What? Okay, this is a bit strange. We're going that way. Okay, fine. Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, Skype, Viber, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Angry Birds, Google Translate, and many other apps can access your contacts, calendar, text, photos, and GPS. So many things. That'll be 13 kroner, and your phone number, please. Why? That's standard, so we can provide a better service. I'd rather not. Then your email address? No, just give me my role. Where were you at 8 p.m. yesterday?
So, right, when a phone is asking us for this information, we don't think about how weird it is, but try it in the future to think, if a stranger was asking me this, would I give that information away? And that leads us to a tech tidbit, our next tech tidbit. So when we think about, does anyone recognize these symbols? There's Google Play. They're all different app stores. So something to think about the next time that you want to download an app is, what data is this app collecting? Because sometimes, even if you download an app and then you delete it, that data still exists. And right after this, I'm going to show you a video about a personal story from one of our other librarians. But I know, so I have an iPhone, and when I search, this is a new app that I might want to download, and I can scroll down and I can see what data they use to track me and what data is linked to me. And I see like this random app, they're going to link to my purchases, my usage data, my identifiers, so my name and maybe my email and things. So before you download an app, think about, do you want this information shared? Even though you probably want to play that new game, is it worth having that information out there? So sometimes, yeah, but think about it before you download the app. And if you download something and you're not using it, you still probably want to delete it off your phone so that it can't continue tracking your information. So think before you download, and feel free to delete apps that you're not using because they might still be tracking you. Okay, so I promised you, oh wait, you know what? We should have a dance break. Are you guys ready to have a dance break? This is a special song that was made by the library staff just for you. So everyone get out of their chair and we're going to dance to the information song.
This is my information song. If I sing this song, I'll never go wrong. My information belongs to me and helps my doctor and my family. Strangers don't need to know to what house or school I go. Do I ever use my real name online? No! I can use a fake name, that's just fine. Do I ever tell people where I live? No! I say I'm from Jersey, that's enough to give. Do I ever share my age or birthday? No! There's nothing more about that to say. Do I ever give the number to my phone? No! I never give it to someone unknown. What about my favorite food? Yeah! That's not personal, so use it. This is my information song. If I sing this song, I'll never go wrong. I wanna play a game online. I ask a grown-up if it's fine. Once they say it's okay, I create an account to play. Is this a good username? No! I don't ever use my real first name. Is this a good username? No! Not my house or school, that's just the same. Is this a good username? Sure. A hobby is a good username. Remember that personal information isn't always words in print. It could be pictures you post that give a helpful hint. So be careful of the words and photos that you share, because you never know who's watching from their chair. This is my information song. If I sing this song, I'll never go wrong. Now I play my favorite game online. A friend request comes in this time. It isn't someone that I recognize, so I'll say no and be very wise. Do I ever use my real name online? No. I can use a fake name, that's just fine. Do I ever tell people where I live? No. I say I'm from Jersey, that's enough to give. Do I ever share my age or birthday? No. There's nothing more about that to say. Do I ever give the number to my phone? No. I never give it to someone unknown. What about my favorite food? Yeah, sure. That's not personal, so use it. Yeah! I'll never go wrong. My information belongs to me.
Miss Kate, they absolutely love your energy and your dancing. That's what the comments.
Yay! Well, I love that song. I've heard it a million times by now because we worked really hard to make it fun for you. And now I sing it all the time. So it's fun to dance to. And I think we'll share it online. So if you want to listen to it too, you can always dance to it.
It's very catchy.
Oh, good. I see some people saying that they liked it. It's okay if you didn't dance, but we have a story now from Miss Ayola, who you see on the screen. She's our emerging tech librarian. So she'll help you with your technology. She has Tech Tuesdays every Tuesday where you can meet with her. And she can, if you want to change your privacy settings, you can make an appointment with her and she'll help you change it so that it's extra private and that you choose privacy because it's Choose Privacy Week. Oh, I see everyone was saying that they danced and they like this song. That's awesome. So if you're like me and you just danced really, really hard, we can sit and listen to a story from Miss Ayola. She's going to tell us about how an account that she had a long time ago when she was still in school, even in the past few months, someone used that information from her. So let me share that.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miss Ayola. I am a librarian like Miss Kate. I hope you've been learning a lot and having fun today. I wanted to share my own privacy story with you and the lessons I learned. When I was a student in middle school, about 13 or 14 years old, I loved dragons, fairies, mermaids, any kind of fantasy creatures. I drew them all the time. One day, I found out about a website called Elfwood, a place where people could share their fantasy artwork and stories. I was so excited to join. I begged my parents for a scanner so that I could put my own art on Elfwood. I ended up only uploading one drawing to Elfwood. I don't remember why, but I got bored with the site. Still, I kept my account. For my Elfwood account, I used a really simple password, a password that I used to use for a lot of different websites. I also used the same personal email address that I still use today. I think I did eventually delete my account since I wasn't using it, but I actually don't remember. Fast forward to earlier this year, 2021, many years since I've been in middle school, I got an email from LifeLock. LifeLock is a service that lets you know when hackers steal data from websites or apps that you use, data like usernames, emails, and passwords. Imagine my surprise when I saw that someone had hacked into Elfwood recently. I tried to go onto elfwood.com to make sure that I had deleted my account, but the Elfwood website didn't load. I looked for more information, and I found out that Elfwood closed in 2016. Even if I did delete my account in the past, some websites do decide to hold on to account records and user information. Today, a lot of websites keep passwords encrypted. Basically, that means that if someone tries to steal the passwords will look scrambled and the thief won't be able to use them. However, when I was in middle school, many websites were not that secure, and they didn't use encryption. Even today, some websites still don't use it. Even though it is scary to know that my Elfwood account got hacked and I can't really do anything about it right now, here's an important thing I'm glad I did. I don't use the same password on more than one website anymore. In fact, the password that I used on Elfwood is one that I don't use at all. I stopped doing that years ago, and I'm so glad that I did. Instead, I use something called a password manager, so that I only need to remember one password to be able to look at all my passwords for all the websites I use. My password manager even has a password generator. It makes wild combinations of letters, numbers, and symbols, so I don't have to think of a new password every time I need one. Using a password manager is much safer than writing down your passwords, and you don't have to worry that you'll forget them. There are many free password managers out there, and you should talk to a grown-up you trust to help you set one up. It's important to remember that websites and apps are made by people. Some people care a lot about your privacy and will do what they can to protect it. Others don't care that much and don't do what they need to do to keep your information safe. Others will even try to steal your information, which can be very dangerous. Websites and apps don't always last, like Elfwood didn't, but they can still hold your information for a long time. Think twice and get advice before you give them your information. Be safe, everyone. Goodbye.
Whoa. So even though you are all in school, you have to start thinking about the digital footprint that you're making with the things that you post. And that leads us into a tech tidbit. My dog is excited about this tech tidbit. Okay, so does anyone recognize this symbol? You can write it in the chat. Yeah.
They're saying yes, Wi-Fi spots.
Free Wi-Fi, right? That sounds so exciting. But I'm going to tell you, it might be exciting, but it's not safe. There's a few reasons why free Wi-Fi hotspots are not advisable to use. Maybe you should think about it. Maybe you shouldn't do it. One of them is a man-in-the-middle attack. So let's say I'm posting something to the social media and it's going to the internet, it's going to the hotspot. Someone can come in between and they can get your data before it goes to the hotspot, before it goes to the router. That's one way that maybe it's not the most private way to get internet. Another thing is, like Ayola said in her story, sometimes people really care about privacy and things are encrypted. But if people didn't really think about it, a lot of that data might not be encrypted. Does anyone remember what that means? Encrypted. Yeah. Ayola mentioned it briefly, but it's when they transmit the information in code. So even if someone comes in the middle of it before it comes from your device to the internet, they still can't understand what it means because it's in code, it's encrypted. But some people don't do that. So the person in the middle can just take it and anyone can have access to your information. Another issue with free Wi-Fi is sometimes it's malicious. So that means it's not nice. And that means someone, if you're at Burger King, maybe there's a Wi-Fi hotspot that's Burger King's. And you click on it thinking it's Burger King, but it's not. It's someone that made a name very close to the safe hotspot, but it's different. And then they're going to take all the information that you just signed up to let them have. So those are just 3 reasons why maybe don't use a free Wi-Fi hotspot in the future. Now I'm going to share a video. It's a YouTube video from Jack Vale. Has anyone heard of him? He's got a big following and he does lots of things with technology. But one thing that he does is the social media experiment. And so he goes to a place and he sees what people have posted in that place. And then he acts like he's a psychic. He acts like he knows the person. He uses public information to play tricks on people. And while this video is pretty funny, think about also how dangerous it could be. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll watch Jack Vale and his social media experiment. So in our chat box, what do you think about that? You know, sorry, my dogs are in the background. Yeah, so this was all public information. These people clearly didn't have their privacy settings set. And it's funny, but it's a reminder that some people aren't playing around like he was. Some people will use that information to manipulate you or to steal things from you. They got first names, they got birthdays, they had all this personal information that we already know you shouldn't post. And that's it. Someone said, people get mad, but you can't get mad if you're posting it online. You have to think that someone's going to be out there looking at it. And that's the point. Most times maybe no one's paying attention, but more times than we think, people are paying attention or companies are paying attention. So make sure whatever you post is something that you wouldn't mind a stranger on the street knowing. Think about it and make sure that your settings are private, so strangers cannot see your information. All right, we have a tech tidbit. So we talked a little bit about how to make good passwords. Can anyone type what are some things that you should think of when you're making a good, safe password? We talked about it in this story. It shouldn't be something easy to guess. Shouldn't be your name or your birthday. Don't use your name. Don't make it too obvious. So some things, this might be too little. So the best passwords, I'll read it, are 12 characters long. What are characters? Numbers, symbols, letters, exactly. So anything that you would type on a keyboard, those are characters. And it should have numbers, capital letters, lowercase letters, and special characters. Those are the safest passwords. So this might seem hard because if you use random letters, which is the best option, those can be hard to remember. So we are going to make a quick, easy password that seems confusing, but hopefully won't be that confusing. So what I like to do is think of a song that's always in my head. So lately, who here has been listening to Levitating by Dua Lipa? So I took the lyrics from that one. You want me, I want you, baby. And I'm going to use the first letter from those lyrics. So now I have random letters, U, W, M, I, W, U, B, and I have uppercase because this is the beginning of a sentence, and I've got lowercase that are the rest of the sentence. So now I've got some letters that I can use for my password that are going to seem random, but if I need to remember it, I can think, you want me, I want you, baby. I'll remember what they are. And then we need some numbers. Sorry, my dogs are fighting. What are some numbers? You could look at the time. It's 10:49, so I could put 149. And we need some special characters. So maybe I'll have an exclamation point here because that's where a sentence ends. And maybe I'll put a question mark here. Things that you'll remember. And then I have 12 characters. So I'm going to write it down and see if this all works out. So U, W, M, exclamation point, capital I, W, Y, B, question mark, 149. Now we have a safe password that I'm going to remember because it's connected to something that makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to anyone else. So this is the second best way. Random password generator is the number one best way. But that's just a hint. You can think of song lyrics, your favorite book titles, anything, and just take the first letters from it. And then it seems random, but you'll know. I read someone's mind. All right, so now we're nearing the end. I have a Kahoot for us to play. Now, the issue is the Kahoot can only have 100 players. So most people just type in the chat, or if you're feeling lazy, just yell at the screen. That's fine. We just want you to participate and have fun. So let me share my screen. All right. So now we've got our choose privacy quiz. Whose permission should you get before creating an online account? Your friends, your babysitter, your parents or caregiver, or your teacher? So you can type in the chat, or you can yell at the screen. I hear some answers. All right. So most people know you should always get your parents or whatever adult you're living with, you should get their permission and their help when you're setting up an account. That way they can help you stay safe. We're participating, having fun. Which password is the safest? Kate319, cheese is good, exclamation point. TMHUY6 or 789, exclamation point, RE7, FDIU, question mark, R6. Which one is the safest? Exactly, the one that nobody can guess. That's the most important thing. And remember, always keep your passwords private to yourself, even your friends. Maybe you're gonna have a fight and they'll get into your account. Don't risk it. Just keep your password private. Which username is the safest? Harry Potter fan, Miss Kate librarian, Grove Street skater, or Kate Davis? All right, I'm seeing some chats. I'm hearing some yelling. Not too loud. Exactly. Harry Potter fan is the best one because it's a hobby. It's a book that I like. It's nothing personal to me. Miss Kate librarian has my first name and my job. So that's not safe. Grove Street skater. Well, I live by Grove Street. So that's not safe. People could figure out where I live. And Kate Davis, well, that's just my full name. So that's just not safe at all. Which statement is okay to share with an online friend? So maybe a stranger. My phone number is 555-123-4567. Or I live by the Cunningham Branch Library. Or my favorite movie is Moana. Or my name is Kay Davis. Exactly. My favorite movie is Moana because that's something that I like. It's not connected to me personally at all. Which search engine is the safest out of these choices? Google.edu, Yahoo.com, Bing.com, or DuckDuckGo.com. Remember, you can type it in the chat. Seeing some answers there. Hearing some answers. Oh, someone's being too loud. Exactly, DuckDuckGo. They keep your searches private. So they're safer to use if you want to choose privacy. Awesome. Why shouldn't you post this photo online? Everyone looks bad in this photo. Or it shows the home's address. Or you didn't ask your friends if it was okay to post a picture of their faces. Or it's sunny out, but no one's wearing sunglasses. That's not safe. All right, seeing some good answers. Exactly. This one had two right ones. It shows the home address. So make sure your pictures don't show your location. And we didn't really talk about it, but you should always ask anyone else in a picture that you post if it's okay if you post their image. They mentioned it early in this program. Someone said their daughter's pictures were all downloaded by a stranger and all of his daughter's friends were tagged. So now their information is shared with a stranger. So don't post pictures unless you get permission. Which word is not part of think? So remember to think before you post. True, hurtful, inspiring, kind. So we want to always think before we post. What are the words we should think about? Exactly. Hurtful. We should never post something if it's hurtful. But if it's true, inspiring, and kind, go ahead. Nice. We see some streaks. So this one's true or false. When you delete an app or online account, some people can still access the information from that account. Is this true or false? When you delete an online account, some people can still have access to information from that account. True or false? Exactly. That's true. So that's why you should think before you download an app, because once your information's out there, it's always out there. It might be more private, but it's still accessible. 2 more questions. The least safe passwords are made of special characters, like question mark, exclamation, more than 12 characters long, or at least 12 characters, made of letters and numbers, and used over and over again. Exactly. We know that the best passwords have special characters. They're long. They've got at least 12 characters. They're made of letters and numbers. But if you have a good password, do not use it over and over again. If one of the accounts that you have is hacked, then they can hack all of your accounts. So each one should have a different password. All right, last question. True or false? With the standard privacy settings, people can see where you are when you post on social media. So this is, if you don't change your settings, whenever you post something, can people see you? So, well, let me say that the right way. With the standard privacy settings, Zoom's covering it up, but people can see where you are, your location, when you post on social media. True or false? It's true. So make sure you change your privacy settings, or else people will be able to see where you are, what you're posting, play pranks on you maybe. So thanks for joining, everybody. I hope that you had fun learning about Choose Privacy Week, and that you use some of the tech tidbits that we talked about this week. Bye, everyone.